Huge shout out to the sponsors that keep this podcast rolling. First up, we have CTS Media. If your business needs better content, a fresh website, or full service digital marketing, CTS Media has you covered. Photography, videography, social media management, social media creation, Google Ads, Meta Ads, everything your business needs to look legit online, because let's face it, if you're not doing these things, you're falling behind to your competitors in today's world. Check it out at ctsmedia.org, link in description below. Next up, we have Shred It, You're On. They solve the classic problem every rider has. Your action cam blocks your jersey. Their jerseys keep your kit visible on camera and look sick doing it. Grab one at shredityourOn.com. Finally, we have Gutter Getters, your go-to for home maintenance. Whether it's gutter cleaning, roof care, pressure washing, small repairs, deck repairs, they handle it all. Hit the link or give them a call below.
Welcome, everybody, to 2026 Ridin the Line. I think podcast number 2 of the year. So we have, is it 1 or 2? I think it's 2.
I think it's is it not the mate? I don't know, man.
We did Tony like right after New Year, right?
It was either right before or right after. Loose program, dude. Loose
Whatever. Keeping it fast and loose, but staying online somehow. We're here. We're podcasting. Tonight we got a good show. I'm excited for it. I'll be a little out of my realm. I don't keep up with a whole lot of fantasy motocross, but we got A1 coming up this weekend. We're all super stoked. We get back to racing, which is sick. So super excited on that one. Again, welcome to the Ridin the Line. And Cason, who do we have?
Yeah, so I was like, man, I'm about to fly to California. We got Anaheim 1 coming up. I'm hyped up. All I've been listening to is Pulp MX. We got Vital MX. I mean, you name it. I've just been like hounding it and all week long. And so I'm fired up. I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready to put in like my 2 cents a little bit. And I talked to you about it, and I was like, man, I know the perfect person. And this is a great excuse because I knew at some point he's going to come on the podcast. It's Mr. Josh Cohan himself. I'm sure 99.8% of our viewers know who this gentleman is for obvious reasons. Josh is the co-owner of Jarrod's place with Jarrod himself. So they went in on the park together. And so he is a huge driving source of what Jarrod's place is now. I mean, lots of time and effort from his side of things. So welcome to the podcast, brother. I'm stoked to bench race with both of you and talk about some Anaheim 1.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
I want to get into like what's everybody been up to. I want to know like what's everybody's weekend been looking like. Ross, what'd you get up to this weekend?
I did a little bit of bike riding, got over to Big Creek again. Was ripping around on my specialized voltage ride. I got to have some fun and go do some jumping, hang out with some folks. There were like a bunch of kids there, like post Christmas. They were like, "Do a wheelie, do a whip. Can you manual?" I'm like, "No." Yes, but no. Right, but no, had a good weekend. Did a little bit of bike riding, which was super cool, and then just did some cleaning up around the house. I actually rode the bike. I went up to the bank to go deposit some checks, and Josh, I actually saw a mutual friend of ours, Nate Frost from ABB Gallery.
Yeah.
I went to SCAD with Nate, so we were buddies a long time ago. Saw him walking down the sidewalk, and he's like, "Hey, do you like know Josh Cohan?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, actually, I might be podcasting with him later." So it was cool to see a mutual friend of both of us. And I know ABV Gallery, for those that don't know, provided a lot of art for Jarrod's place, and so a lot of that art that you see around there has either been painted or curated by Nate and the crew over there, and Greg, Mike, and all that stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, that's sick. So I actually got some moto in this weekend, which is I mean, a good transition into this podcast. But yeah, man, Will and I went up and Sunday went to Fannin County MX, which is like one of my favorite tracks of all time. It's like a super basic track, and it gets pretty busy, but it was like it had just rained a few days beforehand, and it just rutted up so nice. I mean, I was dragging peg in a few inside ruts, which is like I'm so not used to. You know, we're used to like super hard packed, like concrete tracks. So we were both in heaven, and Will coming from the wood side of things. He's slowly getting transferred into the track. He's having a blast, dude. He's got a smile on his face the whole time. And then yeah, we just did some family stuff on Saturday and stuff. And then yeah, went out to the park today and helped the crew lay some straw down and seed some stuff and put some signs up, all the good stuff.
Every time you say straw, you just know you're in the country. It's like straw.
I was thinking that same thing.
I know if I say hay, I'll get roasted. Hay is for horses.
That's right. Straw is for mountain biking.
And
Yeah.
the guy who farms all of it will let you know when you pick it up too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I said hey one time, and that was an immediate
He
correction.
said, no, sir.
Yep. So
Oh,
good
yeah.
time.
Well, it sounds like Ross had a good weekend, and myself definitely. And I know Josh, man, you've been working on. Speaking of Big Creek, I know today you've been hustling, and yesterday as well. Is today
Yep.
Tuesday?
Yeah, today's Tuesday.
So yeah, what are you guys doing out there?
Yeah, so weekend at the park was pretty busy after the holidays, and then outside of that, I was working all weekend. Went out of town for New Year's, and then came back, and then got some riding in at the park this weekend. It's pretty prime. It's funny how many people believe that the wind is worse on upper air supply now due to our tree removal situation, but the reality is that they just think they're going slow because there's not as much. There's less stuff around you now. So. Other than that, good time of the week, good weekend over at the park. Got some laps with Jarrod and some other folks, so that was fun. But over at Big Creek, yeah, we were hired to do the job of resurfacing Hawkeye and also touching up Hollywood and making a few changes to make it a little more rideable for all in certain spots. Overall, like we all love Hawkeye. Hollywood's always been a great trail too, so it's cool to be able to go out there and change some things up and help the community grow and make some stuff more progressive and just overall revamp and get trail armor out there. So yesterday, Will worked his magic as usual. We started at almost at 9:00, and he was done by 5 p.m. with machining all of Hawkeye, and then I wasn't too far behind.
Nice.
Yeah, I had to do a bunch of leaf blowing to get the trails ready for him, and then hopped in behind him, started doing some shovel work and all the packing and plate compacting and quad packing, you name it. And then Will hopped back to help me for a little bit yesterday, and then we split ways today, and he started on Hollywood and then I was on Hawkeye by myself for the rest of the day, but finished up Hawkeye. Game plan is to have hopefully carpet out on Thursday, so that way it'll be open and rideable this weekend for the public. Not sure if that's their game plan, but it'll be hopefully done on Thursday. At least Hawkeye will. And then Hollywood, Will's already machined all the way down to the flight deck. Few changes, like the entrance is just a tad bit shorter, so you're not having to pedal like crazy to get into it. And then the first jump after the shark fin's just a smidgen smaller, with a bigger case pad to help bring some encourage people to get over it. And then there was that long step down, which you either had to really pedal for or just kind of roll through. We'll change that into two smaller downhill doubles, which it's really cool now. Yeah, and then we got rid of the drop roller going out of that berm and made the berm bigger with a nice pocket. And then we left the hip jump alone because you're going to carry plenty of speed to really set it up. And we will put in a nice high side drain above the hip jump so it won't erode through anymore, which will be nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we got some big changes for the bottom half coming. So it should be a good time. It's going to ride really, really well, and it'll flow, uh, a lot better going through the bottom half. So that way, people can get full top to bottoms and not be discouraged, to like not go all the way to the bottom. So, and it's going to be awesome. Trail armor is going to be throughout all the trails. Rambo really stepped up to the plate and is putting everyone's dollars to use and really helping out with the community and getting some stuff that's hopefully it'll at some point we'll be able to be rideable, rain or shine out there, so that way people aren't having to hang out at home and ride the trainer. So
Yeah. Dude, I saw some of the resurface photos that Rambo posted up on there. It looks really good, so thank you guys for doing that. It
yeah.
definitely needed it for sure. I rode it over the last couple of weeks, and it is getting a little chattery out there.
Yeah, you go from it's been, I think Ryan Kramer was saying it's been 8 or 9 years since it's been resurfaced. So
Hmm.
unfortunately, there was some carpet on it, but it's basically like a curb to a lip. So now it's like butter smooth. And Will and I took some test laps today on Hawkeye, and man, it's like Christmas Day when you get to ride a trail that you've ridden a million times, and it's never you've only ridden a few times when it's been refreshed, and then you refresh it and then it's like mint. It was a pretty cool feeling. So
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty sick for like you shouted out Rambo, but I definitely want to make a big emphasis on that because you don't see um public trail systems putting this effort into this stuff. They've had you guys out there numerous times at this point to revamp and make things better. Um, and from the pump tracks to what you guys are doing now, like big shout out to the crew over at Rambo. And it's awesome, number one, that they're doing that, but number two, it's awesome that they're able to do that from the people's donations and the support to be able to have Josh and Will, two, absolute experts in what they do. Those trails will be amazing when they're done with them. Josh just sent me a few photos from today, and it looks unbelievable. And so I need to make it out there because I can't tell you last time. I said on a few podcasts ago, the last time I been to Big Creek is I couldn't tell you years.
Yeah,
So
and the cool thing was is when we were testing today, Ross, I know you've got that full powered steed now, so with the
Yeah.
leaf. So it was funny, we were just taking a couple test laps, but it's legitimately 30-second turnaround runs because you're pedaling up so fast, and then you go down, and it ties in perfectly into that new step up that we did. So we were testing, but there's tape up, so we're having a duck underneath of it. Man, I that trail is going to have a million tires on it once it opens up. And what's cool is that like you guys said, and I said, Rambo's really going above and beyond to help push local riding scene, which is super cool. Not that MTB Atlanta and all those guys, they do a ton. Same with Sorbo Woodstock and all the other places, but for a local trail system to have the infrastructure that Big Creek has now, it's it
Yeah.
really is impressive to see how much time and money and effort that they're working on. Cool to see people come by, stop, say hey to us, say thank you. And the reality of it is we tell them thank you, because if it's not for the people who help donate, that
Yep.
wouldn't happen. We wouldn't be there. So it really is it's a full circle situation, which is tight.
yeah,
Yeah. Heck yeah.
so cool. All right. Well, now that we got that wrapped up, I'm 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 so excited. I'm itching. I'm chomping at the bit right now. All right. We got a lot to
Do
talk about.
this.
Um just so everybody knows, man, we are not experts at this. So don't take everything that's about to happen very seriously. We're about to bench race about some Anaheim 1 Supercross. Uh all three of us are huge fans of Supercross. Ross doesn't follow it as in depth as we do, but he's definitely a
Nope.
big fan. And but he likes racing in general, so I think he'll fit in just fine.
And I'm gonna preface with all of our opinions are subjective.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh well, we can bring this up, dude. Yeah, shout out to the homie on Instagram that thinks my opinion is this true fact. Mr. freaking Shammy Butter, dude. Anyways,
Gotta love it.
anyways,
opinions
according
are
to-
opinions. We
According
have
to
them.
Steve Mathis, they're media experts, so we can't be that far off.
I mean, hey,
oh yeah,
something.
we're right there, dude.
Almost. Straight from the
Oh,
couch.
All right, Cason, we'll kick this thing off. What are we talking about? What's the first topic here? I'm stoked.
Yeah, man. So I would say we have a lot to talk about. We kind of have we're gonna start with 450s and kind of just go down and talk about some of our race contenders for Anaheim 1. I want to touch on that, and then also go into maybe a little bit of a title contenders that we think, if we want to predict 17 rounds from now or whatever it is, and see what we are thinking. There's a lot to talk about, but I think the biggest topic that everybody, of course, we're a few weeks behind at this point, that is going to change the narrative for the whole season, I believe, is Mr. Jett Lawrence, the guy that is known to win everything, but somehow not finish a full 450 season yet, and it is not stopping there. Unfortunately, it was released a few weeks ago that he got injured while running at the dog pound, and unfortunately, it's a not too crazy injury, but it's one that is known to put riders out for a very, very long time. So I'll give my 2 cents on this real quick, and I'll toss it to you guys. I think it's very obvious. Like, everybody going to the starting line at Anaheim 1 has Jett in their mind, right? Like, think about a Cooper Webb. You think about a Chase Sexton. They know that that's the one person that is, that are running over. He's running over them time and time again. And so it's always in the back of their mind. Luckily Cooper was able to grab the championship last year based off of his, just pure ability to stay healthy and stay consistent. But I think everybody had it in the back of the mind that, Jett is coming back, and has a very, very good chance to, number one, win Anaheim 1, but also win the championship. So now I think it presents this narrative that Chase Sexton, Cooper Webb, Eli Tomac, it even brings Mr. Roczen into the picture now, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And those guys are saying, okay, well, Jett's out. Now we're going to get this shit rolling, I don't really know if it changes much. I just personally think it's going to bring that field a little bit tighter. I think that 5 or 6 guys that possibly could win a championship are now, I think it's just they're a little bit closer than they were with Jett, and I think it's going to be still some killer racing. But it'll be interesting to see. It's a bummer he's out, because now also it presents this asterisk, right? That it doesn't bother me, but at the end of the season, if Chase Sexton, let's say, wins the championship, you're going to have people saying, oh, well, it's because Jett was hurt. Oh, well, it's because Jett didn't even start the season. Jett was there. Which is a really big bummer, in my opinion, because I want someone to beat that kid straight up. And I know a lot of people feel that way. But yeah, what do you guys think? Josh, what do you think about this Jett Lawrence thing?
I think it's like a vacuum, man. Like, it just, like, every time those guys know that they have to line up against him, it just sucks the wind out of them. I mean, everyone obviously does their best and, like, they all want to beat him. But, like, the reality of it is that when they know that he's showing up, there's that, like, uncertainty of, like, is he going to put in a full effort or just kind of cruise at home? And I think him not being there anymore kind of creates this new like kind of sector with the guys that are older, and also Chase, to where, Cooper's a gamer, so, like, you can't count him out. Eli, I mean, he does look good on the new KTM. Interested to see if he has any shock issues like how Chase and Tom Vial were having last year. And then, have Chase, who's on the Kawasaki now, and maybe that remedies his issues with washing the front end out. Maybe it doesn't. You never really know. So, like, at this point, and you also you can't count out Hunter. Hunter's just been in the shadows of Jett this entire time. So you have a person who's not won a Supercross race yet, but he's won an SMX race, he's won an outdoor. So the reality of it is you have, a group of guys who can really battle each other. It's just about who can stay healthier longer, I think. And then I also believe, you have Justin Cooper, but I don't think we're going to see a breakout Justin Cooper like we will Hunter, with the top guys. So I think it's just really about who can get through Anaheim 1, safe, and then move forward from there and just kind of feel everything out with their new situations. Because, I mean, obviously, we all know there's tons of change in the offseason. So now you're not having to worry about the title threat of, Jett, and, Cooper can hopefully protect his championship a little bit better without, having to lose a night's sleep over knowing that Jett's going to show up there.
Yeah.
So, who do you think benefits most from Jett being out? Like, if you had to pick somebody, like, who is just like, all right, this is it?
If I had to pick one person, I would say Eli, honestly. I think that's his crux. Like, there was a couple races last year where Eli straight up like caught and passed Jett. I forget which Supercross it was. It was earlier in the season before he got hurt. But Eli came from behind and passed Jett on the outside. Like, there was no, like, he was standing still. It was crazy. But the thing was is that, like, anytime Jett's in front of Eli, it's almost like a cat and mouse game. And Eli just couldn't close that gap for whatever reason it might be. But I think that Eli ends up being the bigger winner out of this whole situation as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I would agree. I don't know. I don't know if I do agree, but
Subjective.
I'm thinking it's a subjective opinion. I don't really know. I think they all do. Like, I think in some way, shape, or form, like, if you had to pick somebody, Eli's a great choice to answer that question. But I think almost I'm going between. I don't, I wrote this question down, but I didn't really think of an answer beforehand. I just like Chase and Cooper, in my opinion, like Cooper Webb, especially because you think about Cooper Webb, is always there. But what's his biggest issue, right? He never has the speed to compete with Jett Lawrence. He knows he has the speed to compete with everybody else most of the time. He's never your fastest qualifier by any means. But I would say in a main event, Cooper can hang with those guys except for Jett Lawrence, and he knows that as good as anybody. So I'm going to say Cooper on that question. I think he's going to benefit the most out of this, which we're going to get to each rider. So I don't want to dig too much further into that.
Well, hey, before you go too far, I want to say this reminds me of last year in MotoGP 2024. Jorge Martin won the championship. He was top dog, switch bike manufacturers, all that. And then he gets hurt in off-season testing, right? And so he is like out for 2025. He came back in like the last maybe 4 races, what have you, of the season. But what I thought was so sick about last year's season in MotoGP is now that like top dog is out, everybody smelled blood, right? It was like everybody got on their game, and you saw Acosta, who was like a second year, it's his second year in MotoGP. You're seeing like Fabio Quartararo on like the most undergun bike out there now starting to scrap and get in the mix. You're seeing, both the factory Ducati guys were getting at each other. But I think I don't personally know the background of who it's going to benefit the most. I'm a Tomac fan, so I'm kind of with Josh on the Tomac thing. But I am stoked because he's out to see everybody else just absolutely go for the kill.
Yeah, and I agree with Ross. Like, it's kind of crazy that you brought the MotoGP stuff up, because I mean that's the same thing that happened last year with the Supercrosses. Jett got hurt, and they chummed the waters with that one, and it was just chaos after it. So, and it was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, certain people did get hurt. Eli ended up going out, but like overall, like once Jett was removed from the situation, it's like the water was just chummed with blood, and then
Yeah, dude.
he was there for a few races and then disappeared. So now this year, everyone's going in thinking that they're going to have this, chance to beat Jett after he's won an outdoor title, an SMX title, and then lo and behold, here we are again with all the water bloodied up, ready for a new situation with him not there anymore.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I was actually. Do you remember what specifically the bone? I can't remember the name of the bone that he broke in his foot, right,
One an
Josh?
ankle or foot? Yeah.
He broke part of his ankle and part of his heel. And there's been like Jeffrey Hurling's had this same injury.
Thing,
And,
yeah.
yeah, and several other racers have had it, and it's cost a lot of racers their career. Thankfully, based on the information I know, Jett's obviously healing up, but like immediate surgery is not a good sign. But at the same time, Jett's really young, so he can bounce back. As to where when it happened to Hurling's was a lot further on into his career, racing GPs. So kind of a different scenario, but same bone that will tell the tale. So, interested to see how Jett comes back from it. It's not like a knee injury, it's a non-weight bearing injury at the moment. So
Yeah, I'm curious. And do you think he comes back before motocross?
I don't know. If he can, I think he does, just to get some reps in for super motocross. And also, since I don't know if he's already opted in. I think that's how the playoffs work. Since he won last year, he's already automatically like opted in. I forget all the jargon of that, but I do see him back. If he has the opportunity, he wants to be there. I mean, there's a reason he gets paid the big bucks. So I think he'd be trying to, show up and get a podium and just remind people that he is the guy still.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you probably heard the same interview with Lars, the team manager of HRC Honda, and the way I actually did not expect him to even say that Jett would be coming back before motocross, but he kind of like left it open ended in the interview with Steve Mathis, and it was kind of worded of like, we'll see when he comes back. It wasn't like everybody expected them just to say motocross definitely. So, we'll see. But I don't know. This topic has been ran around the bush already enough with Jett, so he's out. But we got a lot of real team players to talk about, and I'm excited. I really want to focus on A1. This is a great opportunity to kind of talk about Anaheim 1. I mean, everybody knows that this is like historically the place that Supercross starts. It's a super big race. The hype is real. It's just like any other sport. The first race or that first game is always a little bit bigger and more hyped up than the others. And I kind of wanted to talk about number one, the just like Anaheim 1, the riders' mindset going into Anaheim 1, right? There's and Ross, you can probably speak a little bit to this too. Like there's that weird why are you laughing?
I don't know. Because I'm old.
Like, you say because you're old.
Yeah.
There's like this weird like I don't know, like either people are going into it wanting to just get through the race, like just wanting to get to round 2, or you could look at it as these riders want to win it and make a statement. I think riders like Cooper Webb, I think riders a little bit further down the totem pole are ready to get it over with, and they want to get out of there with as much points as possible. But I think someone like Jett Lawrence, who unfortunately is no longer racing with us, he would want to win it. And I think the same with Chase Sexton. I think Chase is going into Anaheim 1 wanting to get that W on that new Kawasaki, which we can go into a little bit further. But how do you think these the both of you, like, how do you guys think these riders are going into the first race? I mean, out of 17 rounds, and then motocross after that, and then super motocross. So they got a lot ahead of them. This is just the first round of many. So like, how do you think they're looking, and what's their mindset like going into this first race?
I mean, honestly, I think, I mean, I listened to Steve Mathis in the Pulp Show today from last night, and I thought it was kind of crazy. I mean, I've known this statistic for a long time, but if you think about it, Ricky Carmichael's never won A1. So
Oh
just
wow, I never knew
think
that.
about that. Ricky Carmichael never won A1. He's the GOAT, right? 15-time champion. One of the greatest. He is the greatest of all time. I mean, no one's ever going to come close to his statistics when it comes to race wins and all of the above. But
Jeremy McGrath.
that like at the end of the day, some guys are gonna have that like I just want to get this over with, and I think it's because they just see themselves like in a position where it's like it's out of routine for them. So and it's just overstimulating with all the media and like it just being the first step. But like with all the off-season races, I don't think that hype is like the same anymore as it used to be, where there was like this big lull where there wasn't racing and now there is. So I think I think overall the keys to success as far as just like getting in there, making sure that you have good laps, retaining points. And, I think Chase, personally speaking, if he was to win, he might get a false sense of hope, because it's like, ooh, we did great at this one race, but you have Tomac who had a great offseason race and a bad offseason race. And if he comes in, top 5 for him, I mean, that's pretty, common for him at A1. Or, like if you see Ken Roczen win, wouldn't be surprised, but you know, I I don't think Kenny would get as much of a false hope as it would for Chase, because Chase is in a new program and he's looking for that um, standout ride. So for him, I think he's going to come in pretty hot and heavy, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Chase Sexton win the first race. But at the same time, I wouldn't. It's more of a phenomenon with A1. Like you have Justin Barcia win one year, and no one ever had Justin Barcia in the cards to win A1. So I feel like A1's just kind of like this standout race, and once you get into like rounds like 3, 4, and 5 for the 450 class, at least, I think we're going to really start to see who's who with the racing.
Yeah, I'm I've always said, yeah, mindset has always been a big thing for me. And when you're talking about it like the at the top level, man, it's I think magnified even more. Um, it's like all the only thing I can think of from like the pros, the writer's perspective is going to be like, if it was me, I would be going in there and trying to like basically like shut everything out and kind of like just treat it like, yeah, it is the first race of the season, but it's another race. And like, I think the big thing is find your flow, find your rhythm, and then not force something that is not comfortable and yeah, and like not forcing it, because as soon as you start forcing it, that's where mistakes come up, that's where expectations come in. Like, I'm not performing to the level that I believe that I should. You just have to be like, screw that. You have to be like, all right, well, hey, this isn't working, so I've got a whole season ahead of me. We've got to get through it, and we've got to stay healthy, kind of like what you guys were saying. um so yeah, I think that's the key is get out there, stay relaxed. Um, and I think what's really interesting is I think this year they cut the open free practice or what have you, right?
Yeah,
And
that's a great,
so
great topic. Yeah, to bring up.
yeah,
For
and so I think not having that free practice, you get into qualifying, um, and you really gotta say, "Hey, this is where I'm comfortable. This is the time that I'm dropping, and I feel really, really comfortable with. Where am I stacking up?" And I think the big thing is going to be able to, take that deep breath, take a step back, and say, "Hey, if I'm not up there in the top 3, top 4, what have you, you got to live with it."
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Not having free practice. I mean, personally speaking, the guys are of the who. They don't really need that free practice. And I know there's this whole debacle of if the privateers need it or not, but you're a professional in the sport. Like I get it. Like it's not like back in the day where there wasn't a practice track, right? Like you had to go there and then practice at the racetrack. Like they all have these compounds now, or a private track, or a friend's private track, or anything along those lines to practice at. So like the tracks only vary so much with the rhythm lanes throughout the year. I mean, so, once again, we're bench racing. I am not a professional motocross racer, but the thing is, you are the who's who of like racing. You're the top 40 people in the world racing Supercross. So if you can't get out there with an extra 4 minutes to take a slow lap, put a heater in, take a slow lap, put a heater in, maybe you're not supposed to be there. And also it does give room to where like the track crew can actually do some more maintenance to where the qualifying sessions actually are a better overall experience for every rider, not just the C group who goes out first, gets a prime track, and then by A group, it's destroyed.
Just chewed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like with that being said, Josh, I'm looking at the entry list for 450s, and I'm sure this number is wrong, but just by eye, I just counted the top 14 riders are factory riders on a factory team. So it's pretty crazy that you have 14 factory spots at this point. And so I don't think any one of those guys, I'm just, you know, adding to what you said of like, I don't really think they need free practice. Maybe one, maybe they're going to be the guys in 19th and 18th are going to be a little upset about it. But otherwise, I think it'd be all right. And yeah, it definitely helps with the track for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, like, if you look at World Cup downhill racing, like, yeah, you get a practice day kind of, but like, you're not getting that many laps, right? And the track
Mhm.
is forever changing. It's not like they're doing maintenance at a World Cup race. So it's pretty even playing field as to where when you have, free practice and then you have qualifying sessions and Supercross, the track is changing and then they're trying to maintain it to where it holds integrity through the whole night, and not being able to maintain it really affects the night show. So I get it. I understand why. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're getting paid or not getting paid to race there, um, if you make it or you don't make it, like everyone has to do the same obstacles, and you guys are all practicing and getting ready for the same type of race. So I don't know. That's my take.
Yeah. A better racing surface makes for better racing.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've personally been at the races and seen um, plywood through the corners, that have been showing in the middle of the main event. So definitely an issue, and I'm glad they're taking care of it for sure.
Yep.
Um, First up, man, uh, probably one of the most talked about topics that we've heard all off season. Mr. Chase Sexton. He has bleached his hair, which is neat and all. So he's definitely like representing the Hawaii life. And he switched from KTM to Kawasaki, and so he's now on that KX 450. And the weird thing about him is we've seen a lot of off-season racing from a lot of other people. We've seen a lot of Instagram clips. We've heard he's flying at the test track. We've heard X, Y, and Z. We have heard little to nothing other than some dope ass photos from Hawaii from Chase Sexton. And just recently, did we see our first video clip that he posted on Instagram of him riding, and he looked freaking sick. But so does everybody on an Instagram clip with nobody else. So I don't know where he stacks up. I, I have, I know we keep talking about Steve. I know Steve has him pretty high up there. I don't know if I'm ready to bite on that yet. I think he hasn't convinced me otherwise. Currently, but it wouldn't surprise me if Chase Sexton wins A1 and then goes on a streak. It's just if he can stay healthy, he's one of the fastest people. I would agree that he is also just as fast as Jett Lawrence on his best days. He's probably the only person as far as speed goes to go hand in hand with Jett when he's healthy. But I don't know if the Kawasaki hurts or helps him. I'm going to go on the side to say it's going to help him. I think the KTM was not a good chassis for him. And I think that Kawasaki going back on a Japanese platform, as we all know, like most of the Japanese bikes are fairly similar, right? And the way, like the riding, like at the very basic riding characteristics. And then once you go to those Austrian bikes, things change a little bit. So I don't know. That's argued a little bit now too. People say they're getting a lot closer on the way the bikes feel, but I think he's going to do very well. I don't know if I have him winning A1, but I'm 50-50 on that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Chase Sexton, I think the keys to Chase Sexton doing well at A1 is just keeping it upright, not getting overexcited, getting a good start, staying out front. I do think that if he doesn't get a good start, he does have the speed to go through the pack. And I think that with the new motorcycle, the feeling he was looking for, based on the information I know, is that he was looking for more rear steering feeling, which the Kawasaki definitely has. It's just, at the point where he's been at Honda, he's been at KTM, is it really going to change that much at Kawasaki? I mean, obviously with the team he's working with, they might gel better. The bike might be just a tad bit better, but the tucking the front end is always going to be a him issue. It's not going to be just a motorcycle issue. He needs to overcome that. But I think, once again, like I said earlier in the show, like, if Chase wins A1, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I think it might be a little bit of false hope, because it could be a good situation for him that night. But the other thing is that Chase is one of those people where it's like, it's all in or nothing. He's either going to be wide open to the win, or he's going to end up yard sailing. And I hope that it's not a yard sale, because I really do like Chase Sexton, and I really would like to see him win. So I'm hoping that a third team change in the 450 class brings him, and the opportunity he's looking for. And yeah, I mean, just needs to keep it upright the first race.
Do you like the Bleach tear?
The Slim Shady look is not. It's just, I could care less. I think it's the whole, same thing with. But at least Kitchen is open about his hair is gonna just disappear anyway, so might as well just make it look cool. But hey, teaches their own. If that makes him feel faster, then hopefully it makes him faster.
Hey,
Yeah.
question is there a tire sponsor is everybody on the same manufacturer? So you got Michelin's, Dunlops, all types of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Max.
So okay. So
Actually,
did he also
Max was
switch
pretty
tires?
recently. Sorry.
Did he also switch tires when he went to Cali?
I think they're both on Dunlop.
They're both
Pretty sure they're on.
okay.
Yeah, I think they're both on Dunlop.
Okay. Cool.
No, for perspective, Ross, Mr. Chase Sexton is known as the front tucker, because that dude. That's why he's so fast, though, is he has a lot of confidence in that motorcycle. So when it's going well, it goes really well, but it'll bite you in the ass for sure, and that's what's happened to him a lot. We've seen, but we think. I say a lot of people think that because he's going from a KTM, which is supposedly more of a rigid chassis, that the Japanese bike that will be a little bit more, have a little bit more stability on the front. Yeah, thank you for my
stability.
Thanks for hanging in through my stroke, guys.
Yeah, because that was because I know, because I kind of picked up, you're like, okay, yeah, he has a tendency to go really quick, but he tucks the front. And so the way that I'm looking at that is, one, you've got your tire, right? If he's on a different tire compound, something maybe with a different side knob, maybe that gives him more confidence. And then you got basically the front end, you got the fork, and the whole chassis of the bike. And then you say if he's looking for that rear turning stability to be able to get the bike to rotate the way that he wants into the corner. So maybe you're not going in as hard of a lead angle, but you're actually getting that thing to rotate mid corner. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to solve the problem for him, but it seems like you got those three factors,
I would say he's definitely not going backwards. So
yeah,
I think we'll see. But great transition from tires, because our next contender that we're going to talk about has had some tire controversy the past year or so, I would say, running a scoop tire, and it absolutely bit him in the ass at WSX in Vancouver. Or not Vancouver, sorry, he won Vancouver, didn't he? I believe. And
yeah, it was in Australia that it bit him.
Yeah, Australia. So that hard packed terrain that which people are believing it's because he's running that scoop tire, which I mean makes complete sense to my amateur riding dude. And so I don't know like how he does going. You're talking about Ross for context. Chase Sexton is going from Kawasaki. Chase Sexton's going from an Austrian KTM to a Japanese Kawasaki, and now have Eli Tomac very late in his career. Like mind-boggling going from a Yamaha, which is a Japanese bike, of course, to a KTM. So going from Japanese to Austrian, flipping it up. And it's interesting. I would have bet money that guy retired on a Yamaha. I probably would have put $100 on it, seriously. So it's pretty mind-boggling this late in his career that he did not do that, but it shows that he's still willing. I mean, if he's changing manufacturers and after saying he was going to retire 4 times or whatever it is, it's I mean, he's ready and he wants to win a championship, and I think he very well could. But he's old, man. He's in his, sorry Ross, but he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, technically he is the oldest. He is the oldest person to go for a Supercross championship. So
yeah,
and
man,
he very well could get one.
he could. I'm kind of team Tomac this year, man. I've always like, even his dad, John Tomac, huge mountain biker, stuff like that, and Eli came on the scene. I remember watching him a couple times, a couple races. One being like, I think it was maybe 2 years ago at in Atlanta, when they were down at the Speedway. Just watching him absolutely murder stuff. I was like, when that guy gets in a flow, dude, he is pretty unstoppable. I know he's got a pretty bad history with A1. I don't know if he's ever won A1, has he?
Oof, that's a good question.
I think when I was listening to the pod or one of the other podcasts, YouTube, yeah, I think they were saying that I think his best finish was like 4th A1.
Yeah, I believe that. I could tell you though. Which is funny. Speaking of Eli Tomac, as I'm checking, he's currently not on the entry list for A1, which is a joke. Which is pretty funny.
he'll be on the entry.
I know he'll be there, but it is kind of funny.
Yeah, usually some teams enter later than others, so it happens. That's pretty common for A1.
Yeah, I mean, Ross, it's a good point. I don't think I would almost guarantee he's not my pick for A1. I don't even know if he's in my top 3 for A1. I think he's your better bet for a championship.
Yeah, I agree.
I think about 3 or 4 races in is where you're going to start seeing Eli win some races. Maybe even later than that. I mean, we've seen him last year take a little bit longer to get started and to start pulling some good podiums and start pulling some good starts. So he could prove me wrong. He's proved a lot of people wrong on his beast mode rides, but I don't have him as at this moment. I don't even have him in my top 3 for A1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Underdog.
Like switching teams is definitely a big, change for Eli so late in his career. But I think the people that surround him at KTM are a better fit for him than how Chase had it there. I think Eli's definitely on a higher level of just like know-how, like just business awareness and just like team awareness, I believe, than Chase was. Because Chase is just, he wants to be the superstar, as to where Tomac at this situation is the superstar. And the other thing is that like he's had some time in the off season to race and get his, feet underneath of him with the new motorcycle. He's had a good race. He's had a bad race. They can learn from both situations. Granted, the dirt that they were riding in Australia will not be anything like what they race here in America. But, Tomac always, consistently is there as long as he's healthy. And I do believe he has a really strong opportunity to win this championship now that Jett's not here, because he is the long haul guy. He is the championship guy, kind of like how Ricky Carmichael was back in the day. Like, A1 for Tomac, if you asked him, he doesn't care. He just wants to get through it and have a good showing. And if he wins, I mean, cool. But if not, it's not like anything that's to be concerning. Also, I think that, like, Tomac, as long as he can get some starts going, that's really the issue that Tomac needs to figure out, whether it's with or without the scoop tire. But at this moment, he believes in only a scoop tire. I think that's the only thing that he knows exists at this point in time. But and in Australia, he didn't blame the scoop tire as the issue. He said it was just some personal stuff and then some suspension bits. But outside of that, he didn't really blame the scoop tire. But everyone else thinks that he's an insane human being for riding that at like Dallas when they had a Dallas Motor Speedway for SMX, and it was like concrete, and he's running a scoop tire for sand. So, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as Tomac gets a good start, and he can just be consistent, I think he'll do really well at A1. I don't see him on, the winning side of it. I definitely could see, top 5 for sure, as long as he gets a good start. The biggest thing for him outside of a start is just like not being complacent where he's at in the pack. Sometimes he falls into this like following mentality, which is crazy because like you have polar opposite rides from him. Sometimes you have this beast mode, just like charge from behind, or he gets a good start and he just, walks away from everyone. Or you have this situation where he has a decent mid-pack start, gets behind a group of guys like, Anderson or some like Mookie or a few other people, and just kind of falls into place, and it's very uncharacteristic. So he needs to get out of that. And I think if he can do that throughout the season, you'll see a lot more from him rather than in his past. So.
All right, quick break. Huge shout out to the sponsors that keep this podcast rolling. First up, we have CTS Media. If your business needs better content, a fresh website, or full service digital marketing, CTS Media has you covered. Photography, videography, social media management, social media creation, Google Ads, Meta Ads, everything your business needs to look legit online, because let's face it, if you're not doing these things, you're falling behind to your competitors in today's world. Check it out at ctsmedia.org, link in description below. Next up, we have Shred It, You're On. They solve the classic problem every rider has. Your action cam blocks your jersey. Their jerseys keep your kit visible on camera and look sick doing it. Grab one at shredityourOn.com. Finally, we have Gutter Getters, your go-to for home maintenance. Whether it's gutter cleaning, roof care, pressure washing, small repairs, deck repairs, they handle it all. Hit the link or give them a call below. All right. Thank you, guys. Back to the podcast.
Yeah, there's two more really quick things I want to bring up, like that you reminded me of, Josh. The scoop tire has been kind of an issue in the past. People complaining about like the corner ability and the just all the way around, especially when it comes to the hard pack conditions. And I think we've heard that it's gotten tremendously better in all conditions, and it's a lot easier to ride now in all conditions, which is part of why he's been running it so much. But he did struggle on that tire in Australia, like you said. So we'll see. And then the second thing I wanted to bring up with Eli is I believe he's been testing in Arizona pretty recently, from what I've heard, which is awesome because he clearly is struggling with hard pack. And if you know anything about Arizona, there's not loam or soft dirt. So yeah, it's cool to see he's doing that. And I don't know, just like thinking about it now, like I just kind of like lightly made a top 5 in my head for A1 and he wasn't even in it. And so I just had to go back and like figure out where I can put Eli, because I just don't see him not finishing top 5. But we can get to those picks later on and hash it out. But next up, I want to talk about Ken Roczen, man. For me, I'm always big on Kenny, so there's a little bit of bias here. He's probably my favorite rider on the line. Genuinely, I love Ken Roczen. He's awesome. He's such a good character in the sport, and just the whole story of him getting injured about 8 or 9 years ago at this point, and coming back to be able to win races. And at that same note, on a Suzuki, and really make that bike look really good, and also build the program he's on. Who, now, of course, we have Jason Anderson, who we'll also talk about on that program. So it's cool to see the Dustin Pipes program, HEP Suzuki, Progressive Suzuki, whatever the heck it is, whatever they call that team. It's like 5 different teams in one, dude. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see Ken Roczen at A1. I don't want to say where I have him finishing at the moment. I think I have a good idea, but I'm excited. In my opinion, this is, I don't want to say but I want to say one of the best chances. Actually, I'll say this. I think this is Ken Roczen's last chance to win a championship, in my opinion. I think this is the last chance he's going to have in his career that he has a shot at doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, what's your opinions on Ken?
I'll lead it. So I think that Ken Roczen in the off season looked really, really good. He had a really good off season with testing and getting some R&D done, and then World Supercross. I mean, he was winning the championship if he didn't have to exit stage left. So, and he didn't even get hurt. There's just contractual things that he just didn't finish the series. So, I mean, he was racing against guys that he's about to go against that are some of the top dogs, and he was catching, passing, and outrunning everyone. So I think this is a new, rejuvenated Ken Roczen. He, based on his posts and everything he's been talking about, he's super healthy at this moment. I don't think we're going to see as many of those weirdo scenarios where he has to bow out early because of his health, or have a weirdo race because he doesn't feel good, or whatever that saga might be. Or has been. I don't think we're going to get that from him. I think that Ken, once again, back to the Jett conversation, Jett exiting this championship is giving other people a hopeful opportunity that you might not have one this late in their career. So I think Ken's just having fun. He's in a good place with his team. He's in a good place with his family. And I think his health is finally there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Ken Roczen winning a few races and fighting for a championship in the long run, as long as he can stay off the ground and stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, was it last Supercross season that he was absolutely killing it? I don't know. I don't want to say absolutely killing it, but up until the shock blew up in the whoops. And God, man, I I will throw up some photos if this gets on social media. It's pretty wild, and it was heartbreaking. I remember watching it and just being so devastated of him. He's going through the whoop section, and his shock, you can just start seeing it smoking, and it's like just watching somebody about to die. Like, I was like, oh my God, dude. And sure enough, he hit the ground hard. So it's just kind of like these, like you said, these weirdo scenarios that he needs to stop finding himself in. And I also think the problem that he has most of the time, not in situations like the shock failure, of course, because it's not his fault necessarily, but in situations like when he goes down that race, I don't know which one it was that he went down, and then he got caught up in lappers and then tried to jump between these two lappers in a sand section, which is such a rookie move.
Yeah, Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa. And he tried to jump between these two lappers, and it's just like the shot in the dark, and it ruined his night. And arguably helped. It didn't help his season for sure. So, I'm big on Ken Roczen. Like we both just said, I could personally see him winning the championship, but it's a small percentage, but it's a big one for Ken for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, another thing on the Ken Roczen topic is he is not changing bikes. We have a lot of people changing motorcycles this year. A lot of top contenders changing motorcycles. So, arguably, you're going to have a lot of people that aren't completely comfortable on their motorcycle. And I think it's evident that we can all say confidently that Ken Roczen's comfortable on his motorcycle right now. Arguably more than ever. He made that evident in WSX. So he has that, which goes into my opinion of him, being able to battle for the championship is because he is comfortable on that bike. So
If it ain't broke,
I know if it ain't broke, don't fix it, boy. But that's a great transition into another person that is not changing motorcycles this year. Your 2025 Supercross champion, Mr. Cooper Webb, and that's 3 450 championships that he has now, which is unbelievable. That stacks him up into some of the biggest Hall of Famers that you and all of us all know. I mean, 3 Supercross championships in the 450 class is insane. It blows my mind that he was able to do it, and he is also still on a Yamaha, like I just said. The only hiccup there may be that he's on a 2026 Yamaha. I've heard rumblings of possibly using 2025 parts on a 2026 Yamaha. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I know there's a lot of things. I can't remember what specifically it was, but that they're not happy with on that 2026. So we'll see. It's definitely like, when they make those changes on the new bikes, you have those learning years. It's nothing that maybe you or I can tell, but when you're racing at Cooper Webb's level, it's some can be issues for sure when you're changing bikes. Cooper is one of the 2 championship contenders that I have in my mind right now that I would put money on. I genuinely think he could get a 4th title this year. There's nothing telling me he couldn't. I think the biggest competitor he has, believe it or not, is Chase Sexton. And trust me, when Chase Sexton's name come out of my mouth, usually it bites me in the ass because he does something stupid. So I don't know if that's going to be accurate, but I think Chase Sexton's probably going to be his biggest competitor for the title this year if I were to bet on it. But I think he very well could win the title. As far as A1 goes, top 3. I could put him in. I could slot him in for a top 3. I don't see him winning the race though.
I could see that. Definitely definitely going to be a weird year for Cooper Webb. So going back to defending a championship, he's had pretty bad championship title defense years. He is on a new bike technically, if we want to think about the chassis itself. And what they were discussing is that the 2026 doesn't turn as well, which is a big thing for him because he's really good at cutting down on the inside of corners and stealing wins from Ken Roczen. So, or Chase Sexton at that matter. And the thing about Cooper is you just can never count him out. He's got that dog in him. I mean, at the end of the day, he is a gamer, and he's not going to let little things slide. But I do see if he sticks with the 2026 frame is what they were discussing, he might have some more issues where, you're in a title defense year. Like, why wouldn't you stick to the 2025 frame and work with something you already know, like kind of do that. But the problem is that now Eli isn't there, so he can't do the R&D testing and give feedback. So Cooper's kind of heading that. So he has to be the person to like test the bike and do the thing. So from what I know and what I heard today on Pulp, I believe he's sticking to the 26 at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. Realistically, like Cooper just needs to have a good start to the season. He's usually that guy that is like puts himself in a hole and then has to kind of crawl out as everyone else is hurting themselves or having weirdo races, and then he just kind of like inches his way back and then is able to get those crazy like last second wins by cutting to the inside and block passing somebody. So I think the big thing for Cooper this year is just consistency, staying within the top 5 and just being there the whole season. Because I think if he can do that, he knows how to win. He can get there. It's just a matter of being in the position to win and not having to fight for it late in a race. So that's my take on Cooper Webb. I think that he has a good chance of defending his title, and he'd be the first person in a long time to go back to back. I think the last person to go back to back was either Ryan or it was Ryan Dungey, I believe. So we'll see. It'll be cool. I mean, if he goes back to back, that'll be a 4th championship, so he'll tie Ryan Villopoto. So
Yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, it's always weird because Cooper is somehow always an underdog. Like even last year, every race, like I'm not putting Cooper Webb to win. Every race, like not even most of the time, I'm putting Cooper Webb on the podium, and I think most people think that way because he just slides under the radar, and which is how he gets the championship, dude, because he slides onto these riders' radars as well. And he figures out a way to make it happen. Yeah, man, 4 titles would be nuts. That would be insane. He's also, he's 30 years old. I don't know if that really affects him. I think he's still healthy. I think ever since that thumb injury he's had, he's clearly been a better version of himself. Some may say a better than ever. Of course, he's a 3-timer, so he's had some good years, but he looked really good last year for sure. And he's probably the youngest old dog we got. Ken Roczen at 31 years old, and Eli at 33, I believe, if I'm correct. Yeah. So he's old, but he ain't that old compared to his competitors, and I think he could do it again for sure. Ross and MotoGP, man, what are how old are these guys compared to these Supercross riders?
I think the oldest guy, Johan Zarco, is like 39, 40. Wow. But I mean, he's the oldest out there by a long shot. A lot of those guys. I mean, you've got a lot of guys I think that are they're 19, 20. But yeah, it's very similar to Supercross. Yeah, it's because it's a big toll on the body. The hits a lot of times the hits aren't as brutal, and a lot of times don't take as long to come back from, because if you just slide and you don't hit anything, you're all good. But yeah, when you overshoot something or you come up short and you hit a wall, speed doesn't kill. It's suddenly stopping that gets you, right. That's that's my favorite old saying. But yeah, they're similar age, but I think you do like you look at Marquez, Marc Marquez, he's had a very, very long career. And so yeah, I think the careers do go a little bit longer, just from wear on the body than you got in Supercross.
Yeah, it's interesting because now I know in Supercross and I guess not so much motocross, because a lot of these guys are doing Supercross only contracts at this point. They're going further in their career than we've ever seen. I mean, it's pretty crazy that at 33 years old, Eli Tomac is still arguably could win a title, which is we haven't really seen the past couple of years. So it's cool, and we have a lot of young guys as well that these guys are battling with, Jett Lawrence being one of them, and his brother, Hunter Lawrence, which is somebody else we need to talk about. And this is wild to say, but Jett Lawrence has never won, or sorry, Hunter Lawrence has, now I sound like Ricky Carmichael calling Hunter Lawrence Jett Lawrence. Um, Hunter Lawrence has never won a 450 Supercross race, and he is in a lot of conversations for the title this year that I've heard, which isn't that crazy, but it is a little bit crazy to me. I think I just I don't see him winning the title. I know a lot of people are going to argue with me on that. You talk about the people we just talked about, the riders we just talked about. Can he go through them? And I don't think he can. I think this is Hunter's year to start winning some races. I think this is Hunter's year to stack some podiums, and do well. But it also presents the opportunity that now Jett is not racing for Hunter to do really well. And I could see him winning some races this year, and he could be in a title fight. I could very well see that happening. I just wouldn't bet on it. I think with his brother being out, it does present a cool opportunity, though. It's kind of like that if Bubba and Malcolm are racing together,
Yeah.
if Bubba gets out of there, I'm sure Malcolm's eyes light up, So it would be very similar, the brothers. They spend a lot of time with each other. Hunter's used to kind of being that underdog brother, not winning like Jett has found the success that Jett has in the past. So I think with Jett being out, it definitely helps him. Which that question I asked you earlier, honestly, Hunter would have been a great answer for that one. To see who benefits the most, Hunter would be up there.
Hey,
And
what's their age gap? And also like how long Jett's been in on the top level, how much longer than Hunter?
Hunter Lawrence, I mean, Hunter is 26 years old, and so I think it's fairly 5 years, I want to say.
I think it's 4 or 5 years, and Jett's
Okay.
younger brother, so it's
So Jett's 22
Okay.
and Hunter is 26 at this moment. So
Okay.
and I don't know, they kind of started racing together, right, Josh, as far as professional career goes, right?
So, Hunter was originally racing GPs, and Jett got kind of tagged along in it, and they picked up Hunter when he was racing GPs, but Jett was like part of the deal. So essentially, they've always raced together.
Okay.
In different classes sometimes, but overall they've pretty much always been around each other. And it wasn't until when we got to Jett and Hunter being here in America that didn't have a great first year. Jett was racing amateurs, and then Hunter moved up to 250s and in a different class or coast. And then Jett didn't have the best showing his first year because he was doing well, got hurt, and went out. And then the second year after that, it really started to pick up. But I think that the brothers they complement each other, right? Hunter's very reserved. He does a lot of good testing. He's very calculated. He's not just gonna
Mhm.
he's not just gonna throw it away. Um, so I think that Hunter has a good opportunity this year to really be the standout rider of the 2026 season, in my opinion. I think he has the most to gain and the most to lose. I think out
Oh
of
wow. Okay.
I think out of everyone, he's never won a Supercross race. So he needs to check that box off first. And I think if he can do that within the first few rounds, that's going to gain a lot of momentum. And also, he's fighting because his brother's not there. So it's going to push him to do more because, A, they're all for their family, which is super cool. But at the end of the day, when they're on the bike, it's for themselves. No Hunter.
Uh,
It pains Hunter every time that he's lost a Jett in a last minute situation. And it's not that he's mad at Jett, it's just racing. And it's very
hmm.
it's traumatic. You've worked your whole life for this, and you're living in the shadow of your brother almost. So I think this season, as long as Jett can get good, or not Jett, but Hunter can get good starts, stay out front, and make it happen. I think that we're gonna see a lot more podiums and a few wins from Hunter. And you never know, if a bunch of people get hurt, he might be your guy. So, but unlike last year, he got hurt, so hopefully he can stay healthy this year.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those situations the cards just have to line up right. I'm not saying it's not possible. I just think there has to be a few things that happen that puts him in a championship hunt for sure.
Yeah.
A few quick topics. We got the main contenders over with. Just kind of talked about the big hitters and their stories. And now moving on to Jason Anderson, I think is somebody that we need to hit on really quickly. Jason Anderson's been killing it. You know, WSX showed a lot of speed, battling with Joey Savacci and also taking the championship. So he's feeling comfortable on that Suzuki. And I mean, you know, it's kind of like that, you know, that relief. You know, he's in this point in his career. I think that he needed a switch. He wasn't really feeling that new Kawasaki. He had some health issues, we think, last year, and he wasn't driving with that new Kawasaki platform. And now he is on the Suzuki, on the same team as Ken Roczen, which I think benefits both of them. I think Ken is going to benefit from having Jason in his corner now, and I think Jason's going to benefit big time from having Kenny, you know, now so close to him. So I see Jason getting in the top fives a whole lot this season. I think he's going to be a steady top 5 guy. Race wins, I think, is a lot to ask. Looking at the notes we have and looking at the names above him is again that kind of Hunter Lawrence. Like, a lot of cards would have to fall into place for Jason to get a win. It's not possible. I just think it's one of those situations that he does have the speed, but he's gonna have to get around some of those people. And number one, he's gonna have to start in front of those people.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jason's going to benefit a lot from having Ken Roczen as a teammate, just from the R&D that Kenny's already done. And, you know, it's also a good change for Jason. You know, he's late in his career. It's a change of pace. It's not as corporate-y. You know, Kawasaki's a super corporate team to race for, kind of like their way or the highway, from, you know, all the insight that I've ever received about it, just from all the shows and everything we watch and listen to. But you know, Jason did kill it in the WSX championship. You know, definitely rode above and beyond and ended up closing the title. I don't know if he would have done that if Roczen was still there, but, you know, kudos to him for, you know, that out. I mean, came from behind, rode kind of crazy the last race to win the championship, actually, which leads me to believe that, like, you know, this is how he's ridden for forever. You know, he's known to throw some bars and not be scared to let you know either, which is really cool. But that's definitely bit him a lot over the years, and I'm hoping that he can find that, like, you know, maturity to be able to let that kind of slide, not get, you know, overheated about it. Because, you know, I know him and Malcolm kind of had this whole back and forth thing a few years ago, and it really drew him away from a championship that he might have won because other people got hurt, and you know, he kind of threw it in the toilet. So as long as Jason can stay out of controversy, I think he is going to be a top 5 guy every other weekend, maybe every weekend. But race wins, if there's like an anomaly, and he a bunch of stuff happens, or, you know, a mutter for whatever reason gets lucky, that might happen. But I don't see Jason Anderson getting any sort of event wins, heat wins. I definitely see him getting some heat wins, but outside of that, no, see Jason getting any sort of event wins. I see him being in the top 5, top 6 in points at the end of the year if he can stay healthy. To put notes on it, he did have a thyroid issue, is what came out, which caused him to have a lot of issues with, like, being able to even train at the end of last year. That's why he backed out at the end of last Supercross, is because he couldn't even train or basically ride during a race. He was just showing up, holding on for dear life, is what he was saying, and was hoping that for the best. Essentially, he was just there for a paycheck. So he ended up bowing out because of a thyroid issue. And based on the information that has been given, he and the conversation he's had that I listened to, he's in a much better spot now. So hopefully he can stay healthy.
Huh. It's interesting for me with just the way that team stacks up because both their riders, have a lot of tenure. I think if they can put their heads together and they got a bike that they're both really happy with, you know, it, Anderson may not still come out with a win, but I think just having a lot of tenure on both their parts, being able to bounce stuff back and forth off of each other, like you said, yeah, it'll probably benefit Anderson more than Roczen, but who knows where Jason's time racing could maybe give Roczen a little something in the pocket too. Um,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, two older tenured guys together, man, can a lot of times do some good stuff.
I would agree.
Yeah. I also, like you first, really quickly, Josh, you had hinted on him riding a little wild with Joey Savacci in that last WSX race. I actually kind of took it as a good thing. I really liked seeing the intensity from Jason, especially from what's been happening with him this year, and the past year. Just like being off and on and having these little issues. Um, and so just to see that intensity, the Jason Anderson, I know that Jason Anderson that won that 450 title, to see that intensity back, really, I mean, it makes it a point that he's even in this conversation right now, because he is riding like that. So I think it's a good thing. I know what you're saying with, he is known to uh, be a, be a little bit of a Justin Barsha on the track. But I think it's a good sign, hopefully. We'll just have to see.
Yeah,
But
I mean, him being froggy is not a bad thing. It's just a matter of can he control those emotions. That's really what it boils down to. It's a good sign that he's lively, but he needs to keep it within a reality check, so that way he's not putting himself, down on the ground. So
Yeah.
for sure. All right. Big dogs are out of the way. Really quickly, Ducati. It's pretty sick. Yeah, Ross is stoked right now.
yeah.
Ducati is introducing their 450 race team, their Supercross. Sorry, not even 450, just a Supercross race team, just a motocross race team, into the map this year, with two big hitter riders, Justin Barsha and Dylan Ferrandez. Dylan went on to say that the Ducati 450 is the best chassis in two-wheel motorsports, I believe was the quote, something like that. Ross, how do you feel about that?
Bold
Bullshit.
statement.
I feel like that came straight out of a Word document. No. Man, he it may be a killer bike. And in one of our podcasts, we just talked to your cousin who has ridden it as well, and he had a lot of accolades to say about that bike as well. So I'm fired up for Ducati being in Supercross, man. I think it's sick to see the bikes going off road. I know how good their GP25, their GP26 is gonna be. Those bikes make some power. I know as soon as you come into the single cylinder arena, that's the very, very different regulations and all that good stuff on the bikes. But I also know that the MotoGP bikes had incredible suspension. They had the power, and they really, really had the handling on those bikes. So I know that the Italians have a whole lot of money to throw at it, and behind all that money, I know they got a whole lot of pride that they want to win, and they want to have a really, really good bike. So who knows? Maybe it is the best thing that anybody's ever thrown a leg over on dirt surface. But yeah, I think if it was MotoGP, I don't think you'd ever find me wearing a Ducati jersey. I'm a huge Yamaha guy over there. But I'm gonna go ahead and flip the coin and flip the switch and say I am stoked to see Ducati I want him to do well. I want him to be in the mix. I want him to have a good story, and I want them to be able to contribute to some of the chaos of the year. Yeah, for sure. I want to see him in the mix.
Yeah, I would agree on being in the mix. It would be nice to see a new brand out there. It's like, last year we saw Triumph, which was cool, in the 250 class, and this year they're going to release their 450 as well. But like Ducati being a completely brand new team, it's going to be interesting to see how they stack up, and if the motorcycle has any issues in race conditions. Anything can happen from electrical to mechanical to you name it, just like a basic flat. So I'm really excited to see how they stack up. I'm a little concerned about the team that they have. It's you can like Dylan Ferrandis, but not my top choice for starting out a new team. But I understand they're trying to get good R&D, and he is a good test rider from what I know. And fortunately, Barsha got hurt a little bit, or he got really hurt actually during off season. So curious to see how he bounces back. I would see those guys in the 10th place range, somewhere in there. I don't really have high hopes for Ducati this first year. I think they really just need to get their motorcycle, developed a little bit more and, get more time underneath their belt. I know that they're working with all the original Factory Connect Honda guys, which is pretty cool to see. I think that's going to be a huge step in the right direction to be able to build a program to kind of from what I understand, they're trying to create the old factory Honda, or not factory, but Geico Honda team, but with the new Ducati and Troy Lee. So it'll be cool to see. Neat having a new manufacturer means more spots for riders whenever Barsha does happen to move on, or Ferrandis changes teams for the 4,000th time. But it'll be cool to see. I'm excited to see a new motorcycle and see what they can do with it.
All right, really, really quickly, Josh, I'm going to throw some names at you, and I want you to give me a 30-second thoughts / predictions / anything you want to throw at me in under 30 seconds. Christian Craig.
Rebuilding season, top 10s here and there.
Perfect. Benny Bloss.
Go home.
No, dude, no. Oh,
I
no,
love
we gotta
Benny.
close
I
this
love
out.
Benny. I love Benny. It's just like it's a never-ending saga with him. It's either really good, and you'd be like, "Oh, Benny," and then 2 turns later, it's like, "Oh, Benny." So at this point,
yeah.
with the PETA, beta, however you want to call that motorcycle, just don't really see him going very far. And it's it's unfortunate because he's a great rider, but that it's just not really someone I pay attention to anymore.
Austin Forkner.
I think Forkner has a handful with the new Triumph 450, but I think with the rebuilding phase and there not being any sort of serious pressure on him, I think that he will actually surprise a lot of people.
Garrett Marchbanks.
Marchbanks is going to be a top 10 guy through and through. Mr. Consistency. I will have to say, you'll see him in that 12th to maybe 8th place range a lot. I don't see him, banging bars with people as far as in a negative way. I think that he's really going to take it the next level for that opportunity he has, which I think was very overshadowed by Chase Sexton's announcement, which sucks because I think it's a huge thing for Garrett.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, I'm stoked for Garrett.
Yeah.
Cool. I know we added a lot of thoughts and probably took longer than we needed on that, but I think we had a lot of good opinions on 450s. I guess while we're on the topic, let's make some A1 predictions. Let's do a 450 top 5, and then really quickly we'll go through some 250 stuff, and much quicker than we just did 450s. So we'll do 250s in a few minutes, and I'll go first. A1 for my people in my fantasy group. This isn't 100% locked in yet, so don't steal my picks. Fifth is Eli Tomac. I think Eli is a solid fifth place guy at A1. This one I am really, really hesitant on. Hunter Lawrence in fourth. I think he could easily be replaced by a Malcolm Stewart if I wanted to. So that's that one was tough for me, but I'm gonna put Hunter fourth. Third is Cooper Webb. I think Cooper Webb's gonna get third, strictly because he has to if he wants to win this championship. Chase Sexton in your second place spot. And to win, Anaheim won. The number 94, Mr. Kenny Roczen. I think he's going to come out swinging, dude. He's always hungry at round one. He's always really fast in the beginning. And I think he's going to show some people what the hell is up.
I like those picks. That's a solid little list right there. I have some of the same names, just in different order. For fifth place, I'm going to go with Cooper Webb. I just think that he's just going to be Mr. Consistency and just kind of hammer it out, get going on that 26 frame, and have a good start to the season. I think if he can get in there in top 5, that'll be a good go. I think fourth place will be Eli Tomac. I think Eli will find his stride, but I don't think he's going to find the very front of the pack this go around. In third place, I think Hunter Lawrence is going to put it on the box at A1. I think that he has a lot of pent-up aggression from missing part of the season last year. He had a really, really, really good showing at SMX. He also had a really good showing at the Des Nations. So I think that the situation that happened overseas in the offseason with their not so great French ride, like in France and Paris, and I wouldn't pay attention to that. I think that's a lot of white noise, in my opinion. Second place, I'm gonna go with Chase Sexton. I think if Chase can get a good start, stay out front, I think he's gonna do it. And put it on the box. I think that would be a good time for him. And that was kind of hard. I think he can get a win. I think he might actually get a win, but I'm going to go with Ken Roczen. I think Kenny is just in a really good place right now. I think that his health and stamina is good. He's an amazing first few lap sprinter. If he can get away from these guys, it's going to be really good. Also, it might be a mudder. Ken does really well in mud. So I think that those two things alone, with the sprint speed and potential for some sloppy weather, I think Ken's gonna get it done.
Whoa!
Sloppy.
I was holding on for dear life during that.
Sloppy Joe.
Those are good picks, dude. I am on board. I would put those in my fantasy. I like those a lot. Ross, do you think you can give us the top 5 for Anaheim, dude?
Dude, if I knew 5 racers, I would.
All right, top 3. Top 3. A podium.
Top 3.
No, I'm pretty similar to Josh. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a Malcolm Stewart there in 5th, though. I think he might kind of come out of the gate and do some stuff. I think Kenny for the win for sure. I think that's a really good call. Yeah, all the rest, man, just throw 52 cards up, see where they land. But yeah. I think Kenny for the win. I'm gonna go ahead and put Tomac in 2nd. Why not? Because
I like it. Dang, dude.
I like some Tomac.
There you go. I'm surprised you didn't Tomac for the win there.
I would. I just don't
The
think
statistics. I know.
It's the realist in me.
It's hard because if Tomac gets a good start, he could easily run away with it.
He's out there.
Yeah.
Do you remember last year though? Because I remember Jett Lawrence getting caught up on a tough block, and that the next couple corners Eli washes the front and ruins his Anaheim 1. So there is a chance he could start up front, but there's also a chance he could do something like that. But it's very rare, I will say, for Eli.
Why you got to hurt our feelings like that?
I know. I was rewatching Anaheim 1 from last year, and I kind of had forgot about that. And there's so much chaos, which is what Anaheim 1 presents us, which is why we're all so excited, because anything can happen for sure. And there is a big chance, there's actually a really big chance that the 5 people any of us just mentioned aren't going to win the race.
Not even in the top 5.
That's how crazy Anaheim 1 is. Somebody could come up and accidentally win it. So looking forward to it. Really quickly, I know we're taking forever, but let's just very quickly hint on some 250 topics. I want to focus just on Anaheim 1 thoughts for these riders, and then we'll move on from there, and we can maybe we'll talk about the championship later on and have Josh back on once a few races go by. Hayden Deegan. I think it's obvious he at A1. I think he's going to win. I don't have any other expectations. I think Hayden Deegan has the biggest ego of anybody I've ever met in my entire life. So I think he truly believes that he is better than anybody on that starting gate.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think that he wins A1 because he's never even made it on a podium at A1. So there you go. Just saying.
Wow,
I think
I didn't know that. Dang.
I think Hayden. I do think that Hayden might podium, but I don't think if Hayden can get out front and win, sure. But the 250 class is really stacked. There's so many people that win. It's always chaos because it's 250s. I just see if Hayden can get a good start, I do see a podium. Not sure if he'll win, but he needs to win. I think the thing with Hayden at this point is it's a must-win situation. Like, you've created this aura around you, and you have all these fans barking at everyone else, and you're barking at everyone else. So it's time to shut up or put up, you know. And the thing is that he had a really good offseason. He did phenomenally last year, so this is his last go at the 250s. You know, so I think that as long as his mouth doesn't cause more drama on the track, I think that he has a good chance of being on a podium spot at A1.
Yeah, I would agree with all that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he does let noise bother him for sure. For being such a noisy person, it's kind of ironic that he has those issues when he needs to be his best. So yeah, you're right. There's a lot of chaos at A1, so I could think that actually hurts Hayden Deegan now that I'm thinking about it. But I also could equally see him winning, so that'll be interesting.
Fired up too, right?
I see if he gets the start and he stops looking behind him, he'll get the win. But if he does not get the start, I don't think he comes through the pack at A1. That's just my take.
Okay.
Yeah. Does Levi? Sorry.
How many years has he been in the 250s?
I believe this is his third season in the 250s, if I'm not mistaken. It's either his third or
stepping up no matter what, like the 450s, or is this like a last chance, like make it or break it?
He's already contractually moving up, so
after the season, he'll be at the first round of motocross. He'll be on a 450 is what we have all gathered. So
okay, all right. Yeah, I think 250s. I don't know anybody at 250s. So yeah, looking forward to chaos, man.
Oh, it's always chaos.
Yeah.
Can Levi Kitchen come back and be the Levi Kitchen that I used to know? Is my question with him, because I remember, what is it, 2 years ago at this point, the prior season, 2024, Levi was a killer. I mean, he seriously was one of the fastest 250 riders I have seen, and I had high hopes for him. Hopefully that was 2024. I don't know. I just remember that. And he was insanely fast. So my question is, can he do it this year? I don't even know if I have really an opinion on this. I don't know. It's an I don't know, man.
That's a good I don't know, man. Levi can go one or two ways. It's either going to be going for gold or going for broke at this point, based on the way I've been watching him and Deegan go at it. I think the emotions run high for Levi, and I think that Levi has a lot to prove from the kind of having to shut up or put up situation with Hayden. Hayden just eats him alive, and if Levi doesn't show up and beat Hayden straight up, I don't think that Levi has a chance. I think that the dogging of his his riding skills and ability from the Deegan camp is going to undermine his championship opportunities. So I think Levi is fast, but I think that Levi is going to have Levi moments where it's like he has a great night and then he has a really bad night. So I don't know. It's hit or miss. That's where I'm at with Levi.
Chance Hymas. What do we think about Chance Hymas, Josh?
Oh man. Chance, I think he needs to go out there and just have a building year. I don't think he needs to be focused on winning. I think he needs to get past the issue of having two bad knees. He's in a contract year. Hot take. I think that him and Seth Hammaker switch teams next year. That's my opinion. I think that they one goes from Kawasaki.
That is the rumor.
That is the rumor.
That is the rumor.
I think it's a good rumor. I mean, you have Hymas. He's left the dog pound where the Lawrences are. He's on his own training schedule, which, I mean, hey, that's not a bad thing. But, I just think that Hymas has a lot of hype around him because of how well he did in motocross. And I think anything less than a podium is a letdown, theoretically. But I think he needs a building year. I think if he gets out there and can get top 5 throughout all of Supercross, I think that's a win. I don't see him being a title contender. He might get a win. He's gotten one win. I think it was in Foxborough. But outside of that 1 year, he had no podiums. That's his only podium as a 250 racer. It's funny. Levi has less races than Chance Hymas, and Hymas has Kitchen has finished more than Hymas. So Hymas just needs a good season. He just needs to finish. He just needs to be there, and he needs to get just laps under his belt. Outside of that, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a random strike of speed from him, but I wouldn't put my money on him.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. He needs to have an Austin Faulkner year where he just rides the motorcycle for 17 rounds, which is kind of wild to say because we would not be having this conversation last year. I mean, Chance's trajectory was looking very good before he got injured. So it's kind of a bummer. I look for him to do great things in motocross. I think he's a killer motocross rider. But Supercross, yeah, man, he just needs a building year, like you said. But he is also one of those people that could prove us wrong at a round or two, there is a chance of that. So look forward to seeing that. All right, rapid fire here. I'm going to start with Ryder D. Francesco, if I can say that. He's another, I don't know, man. He is either really, really fast or I feel like he can't qualify for the main. So yeah, I think A1 is going to be a good round for him if I were to bet. I think he is one that usually does well at these weirdo rounds. But we'll just have to see. I definitely think he is going to be a heat killer this year for sure.
Yeah, Ryder D had a terrible last lap last year in A1 and almost put it on the box and then ended up, I think, 4th. I think Ryder D is going to be a person to watch out for. Definitely is going to be pushing Chance Hymas out of that top 5 spot a lot this year. I think that Ryder D is in a better position with his new team. He's getting the factory support that he needs. Last year he almost had 2 top 5s and then had a malfunction on his motorcycle and got hurt because of that. It wasn't a rider error. So he was building last year. I think that he is there's a lot of these guys that are like, let's say, lost by the wayside because they're amazing at, an amateur level, and then they get to this pro level and they don't have the success that they were expecting. And I think he's built enough at this point to where his surroundings and his fundamentals and his base are going to be good. And I think Ryder D is going to be the standout rider as far as just, the guy that most people wouldn't expect to be on the box, but he's going to be there more often not than I think most people. Like if Levi, has a mishap, or Anstey has a mishap, or Hymas has a mishap, Ryder D is going to be right there behind them, taking that opportunity and riding to the box.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. All right, let's do same thing we do with 450s for you, Josh. 30 seconds. Drew Adams.
Is Drew racing West Coast or is he East Coast?
Well, yeah. Now that I read these notes, I don't think he is West Coast.
I think he switched. I think he switched to East Coast because of Cameron. But we can slide Cameron in instead of Drew, and I think that I think Cameron's gonna go for the win. I don't think he's gonna show up and lay back this year. He doesn't have enough time to do that, especially with where he is in his career. So I think it's make or break for McAdoo.
Well, we now call him Sackadoo because his pants got ripped. Anyways,
I think I saw that.
And for anyone on this podcast listening that doesn't know what Cason's talking about, just look up Cameron McAdoo ball sack.
Oh yeah, this is a real thing, and it was during a race, so it's crazy. Michael Mosiman, he's an I don't know man for me. What do you think, Josh?
Oh man, Mosiman's an I don't know man. I don't know, man. It's either he's going to be doing great or he's going to be dead on the side of the track. I don't know which one it is. So that's an I don't know, man.
Carson Mumford.
Carson Mumford is a top 10 finisher. He's either phenomenal, one of the best riders, or so I think he's going to be around that 10th place range. He's like a Hunter Yoder, Max Voland, kind of somewhere in that be.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. All right, cool. That very quickly rounds out 250s. While we were talking about 250s, I did realize a big mistake of mine. I left out Justin Cooper, which is a great transition into Justin Cooper because this happens a lot with Justin Cooper because we always forget about him. He's another underdog, and I can't believe I forgot about him. I think Justin Cooper is going to sneak a lot of race wins. I don't know what a lot is. Actually, now that I just heard myself say that, I may retract that statement. I would say Justin Cooper is going to get a few wins. But I would also say this is a big year for Justin Cooper. I think this is almost a proving year. He has had some really, really good results, but he's almost on that line, right? He's not that top guy, but he's borderlining almost that B and A line. I'm not saying he's a B class rider. Everybody, calm down. I'm just saying he is borderline being someone that is a Chase Sexton and Eli Tomac, a Cooper Webb. He just hasn't had that breakthrough yet. He is a 450. I don't know, man, because I expect really good things out of him, but I don't know.
Justin Cooper for me is Mr. Consistency. Only guy to finish 31 rounds last year. But just like his
really
250. Say that again.
I'm just saying, yeah, it's a really good point. I forgot about he is.
They said Mookie did the same thing. I think it's him and Mookie that both raced all 31 rounds, but when we got to SMX, Mookie got hurt in practice. So kind of
dang.
kind of a no-go there. But as far as Justin Cooper's concerned, my take on Justin Cooper is make or break. It's just like here. Justin in his 250 career flew under the radar, but won a championship, only had 2 wins or 3 wins that year that he won a championship. He's just Mr. Consistency, but he is in a year where he needs to either it's make or break for Justin Cooper. I think Justin Cooper needs to win in 2026 to secure a multi-year deal with a different team than Yamaha. Needs to get away from Yamaha, in my opinion, because he's just doing these 1-year contracts, which are oddball contracts. So for him to really get a good opportunity next year for a great contract and really lean into that next chapter of his career, he needs to win this year.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Cool guys, man, this was a lot of fun. This is a blast. I love bench racing. What am I being pushed? Am I pushing it out, dude? Is it too? No, I love it was like as soon as Josh got done talking, I was like, all right, cool, man.
I mean, it's for some of us like you and I, Cason, we listen to these podcasts, so we hear all this stuff. But for some people, they don't hear anything about it. So they just see Supercross and they're like, ooh, who are these people? Or I know the few top guys. So it's cool to bench race and talk in depth about these guys. I know, Ross, you're a huge MotoGP guy, so you could school us on that all day. I know nothing, but
oh yeah. I am stoked for
cool.
round 1 of MotoGP. We're doing the same thing.
I'm gonna have to stick to that this year and actually pay attention so I can actually like have a conversation with you about it, because it is
good.
Cool when you know what's going on for sure. And for motocross, like Cason and I, like it's obviously our thing. We love it. But I'm excited to see what the 2026 Supercross season and motocross SMX championship has to offer. I think there's going to be a lot of good racing, and if the main guys can stay healthy, then I think we're going to have a crazy battle.
I'm stoked that we kind of did this because it gives me, like, personally, I get a little bit of background, right? So now when exactly what you were saying, Josh, it's like when I would watch it, I'd be like, all right, Tomac. And now that it kind of gives me a little bit more of that background on each one of the riders, I think I'm going to go into actually watching this season with a little more knowledge and a little more stoke. So while I got to kind of like sit through this podcast and do some listening, I got to learn a lot, which I think was really cool. It's almost like I got to give some input, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I got to be a listener on this one, and to learn something about a sport that I very much enjoy. Want to really get back into riding myself. But yeah, you kind of gave me kind of stoking the fire a little bit for me to watch this year. So we'll have to get together and I'll watch it together so we can all scream at a TV screen.
Yeah, there we go. Need a watch party.
All get together.
Yeah,
we do. Josh, one quick one. Who do you have 250 West Coast winning A1 if you were to bet on it?
I'm gonna go with Max Anstey. If Max Anstey gets a good start, he's out. I mean, like he's already been racing all off season on his 250. He's comfortable. He's he looks really good. Won a championship in the off season, so I'm gonna go.
Maybe Josh, maybe it didn't.
Yeah, your connection is rough, brother, but that's okay.
Hold on. Hopefully we can fix this.
Wait for it.
Oh, coming back. Oh, now he's reconnecting. Yeah. Anyways, I will agree. I'm sure he's still talking, but I will agree with him. I think Max Anstey is. I think Max Anstey is a killer pick, and I think he's fast. Max always has the speed. So
I got one more topic before we go, bro. This is something that I can weigh in on too. So have you all looked at the track map?
Yes, I have, but I'm pulling it up. So I have.
Yeah, so I was looking at the track maps. So it's pretty interesting. There's a sand section, which I don't know if typically A1 has a sand section. And then also they've got a pretty sick over under or like a tunnel kind of deal on there. The track the track looks really, really interesting to me because it looks like they're coming out of the whole shot. They got like a not super hard left into a rhythm section, um, and I think that rhythm section off the start, because it's like a rhythm section, corner rhythm section, looks pretty interesting. And then I also really like the way that they kind of um, the way they did the over under with the two full on like hairpins. Seems like it's gonna really bunch some people up off the start.
Yeah, it is cool actually to see the bridge. Just sometimes it's not often you see the corner kind of U-ing under it, so that is kind of neat. That'll create a good uh some cool lines through there. I also see after the whoop section, I believe if I'm reading the track the correct way, which I think I am, after the whoop section, there's almost a like tire tap opportunity. A lot of the time, though,
Hmm.
uh, what you see on these track maps may not formulate in person the same as
Yeah.
what we can it on here, just for the supply of dirt or for whatever reasons. They don't do the stuff the same. I've even seen sand sections completely in different spots than the track
Yeah.
map said. So um, it'll be interesting to see how accurate this is. It's really cool. It's a pretty, as far as the layout and rhythms go, it's a pretty basic A1, in my opinion. But there's not much you can do in these diamond stadiums as far as like longer straightaways for rhythms and stuff. So it'll be interesting, and I hope in person there's more than 9 whoops there. Okay. Oh, sweet. So Ross, they made a limitation last season that they would restrict the whoops to only 9 in order to uh hinder the amount of injuries that we had. And I think they're realizing that it really has nothing to do because now these riders can go 3, 3, 3 and be out of the whoops.
Uh-huh.
So kind of sucks for racing. So that's why we're hoping they're going to be 10 or 11
So
instead
to
of 9.
basically triple, triple, triple instead of
Instead of
blitzing them and skimming the top.
right.
So they're
Which
going back old school.
somebody like Justin Cooper, who's a king of jumping whoops, he really, I'm sure he goes to the races hoping for 9. So
Yeah.
but yeah, good point, Ross. It looks sick. I'm excited. I'm stoked that I made it happen where I can be there this weekend. I'm really excited to visit the guys at Trolley Designs as well on Friday and hang out with my cousin a little bit. So it's gonna be a great time, and I'll definitely send you guys some photos. I'm excited for the racing as well. I know both of you guys are gonna be watching, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be sick. And I appreciate you guys bench racing with us.
Dude. Heck yeah.
But well, Josh, man, thank you for coming on Riding the Line. Dude, you just killed 2 hours with us, which we can't be more appreciative of.
Hell yeah, bro.
That's too easy. We could easily go for another 2 hours and talk more in depth about this stuff. Trust me, we could. Um, but I'm glad that we made this happen. We knew you were coming on the podcast at some point. But we're gonna have to have you back on to talk about Josh and talk about Jarrod's and talk about everything that Jarrod's place has going on for the people as well. But we appreciate your time, brother. And before Ross brings us into the intro or the outro, excuse me. Yeah, we're starting another
Out to
one.
the intro, into the
We're
outro.
starting another one up, guys. I want everybody, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of disagreements. So I want everybody's picks uh, for NI1 and the championship in the comments below, please. And tell us everything we said that was wrong. We appreciate it. Ross,
Yes.
take it home.
Hey guys, it's been another episode of Ridin the Line podcast with Josh Cohan. Thank you so much, brother. I don't know, other podcasts they do what we do. I don't know what we do. Go ride something with 2 wheels on it. Peace.
Huge shout out to the sponsors that keep this podcast rolling. First up, we have CTS Media. If your business needs better content, a fresh website, or full service digital marketing, CTS Media has you covered. Photography, videography, social media management, social media creation, Google Ads, Meta Ads, everything your business needs to look legit online, because let's face it, if you're not doing these things, you're falling behind to your competitors in today's world. Check it out at ctsmedia.org, link in description below. Next up, we have Shred It, You're On. They solve the classic problem every rider has. Your action cam blocks your jersey. Their jerseys keep your kit visible on camera and look sick doing it. Grab one at shredityourOn.com. Finally, we have Gutter Getters, your go-to for home maintenance. Whether it's gutter cleaning, roof care, pressure washing, small repairs, deck repairs, they handle it all. Hit the link or give them a call below.